Hi, it's time for good energy, and I'm Dr. Julie, and welcome to Bodyful Day 275. We are talking about shoulder pain and the senses, and today we're talking about the vestibular system. Remember, the vestibular system is where you are in relationship to gravity, and we're going to talk about how that can be good energy in for helping shoulder pain and can be a stressor. Before we start, let's start with our basics. Go ahead and take a deep breath in and release. Next breath in, expand in the belly, expand in the chest, expand in the sinuses, and release. And we're talking about the vestibular system, so I'm gonna slightly cheat. In relationship to gravity, think about the last time that you were fell asleep on your side, and when you woke up, you just could not move, or it just absolutely ached to get that shoulder moving. And go ahead and take a deep breath into that. And release. So today we're talking about shoulder pain and the senses. This is day 3 of shoulder pain and the senses. We're talking about how to get energy to have healthy shoulders, or energy to heal shoulder pain equals good energy in minus stressors. And we're working on the vestibular system. And the vestibular system is where you are in relationship to gravity and also G-forces, so the forces that move around. And when we think about relationship to gravity, we can think about lying down. Lying down is particularly important when we're thinking about shoulder pain and stressors for shoulder pain, because a lot of times if we already have shoulder pain, lying on it or lying into it or lying away from it or scrunching it up has a tendency to increase that stress. Now, there's another way to think about how your relationship with gravity does play a role in here. If your shoulder pain is due to spinal instability, or your spine is out of alignment, then lying on one side or the other can actually increase the intensity of nerve pain, because you're actually lying in and pushing on that vertebra is pushing on that nerve root just a little bit more to make it worse. Now that does give you some really good insight on where the stress is coming from. So for example, if you have left shoulder pain and you lie on your left side and it gets worse, you know that a lot of what's happening really is all along that left side, because you are crunching that left shoulder in. If, on the other hand, your left shoulder hurts worse when you're lying on your right side, what's happening when you're lying on the right side is all of that is open, and therefore it's telling you that there's a nerve that's actually trapped in the back, possibly, but it's not that it's trapped on the side, or well, actually what it does tell you is it tells you that there's a possibility that your disc is bulging. It's just not bulging out into the back. It could be bulging out into the front, and causing the pain. In that case, it is much harder for a chiropractor to help with that type of injury. So we can learn a little bit about our shoulder pain by checking to see what happens when we deal with gravity. Gravity can also be a good way of helping with shoulder pain. So I was going to bring out something that would do this, but I forgot. So I am going to grab a planter, but it is much better if you have something with a handle like a paint can. And when you are working on stressors in the shoulder, one of the things you can do is you can work on using gravity to help it. So here we are at the edge of the step. If you had something with a handle, you could start just letting that handle, so let the gravity of the item just sort of pull you down, and just sort of work on rotating either side. A 5-gallon paint can that is halfway full is probably one of the best, because it's not too intense and it does a little bit of distraction. Because one reason why you can be having shoulder pain is because everything is tightly bound up in that shoulder, and you need a little bit of distraction to release it. So you can use your knowledge about gravity to help give you a little extra good energy in by using distraction. Now, I showed you distraction just folding forward, but you could do the same thing lying off the side of a bed or lying off the side of a counter. So you could lie on the side on a counter, on a peninsula counter, and just lie on your side and do it sideways. And that will also help just kind of distract that shoulder from its joint. And in doing so, it can kind of unbind some of the tension that's in there. So when we talk about the vestibular system can give us an indication if there's something going on with the spine, and the use of gravity can tell us if there's something really local going on in that shoulder ball and socket. And if you can help it by actually allowing gravity to pull it outward, do distraction to distract it out of the joint, and things get better, you know that what's happening is you've got a lot of tight muscles in here, and they're binding the shoulder in, creating extra pain. Now, what do you do when you notice that pain changes on either side? You can find ways to support your head. So maybe if lying this way, because you're now pinching off that, causes more left shoulder pain, then if you get a pillow that helps you keep yourself more aligned, then that will help with that shoulder as well. There are some cool, funky shoulder sleeping pillows as well that allow you to stick your hand through so that you have space for your shoulder. These are good if side sleeping really is your jam and you have shoulder pain. So some of those can help because they can give you a place for that shoulder to go without kinking your neck. So there are a lot of things that we can do with shoulders and the shoulder pain in the vestibular system, more than just spinning on a spinny chair. All right, let's finish this off. Let's take a deep breath in and release. Meet me back here tomorrow where we talk more about shoulder pain and the senses.